Last week, I went to 2 super exciting hackathons, and I'd love to share my journey with you. So the first 5 minutes is a walkthrough of highlights of the events, and then the last few minutes, I'll be speaking about an analysis of different strategies and insights I gained from participating. I hope that you enjoy. The density of brilliant minds is better than anywhere else that I've seen. There's so many founders, engineers, designers in one room. There's an amazing opportunity to go around interviewing people about the problems and then shipping a solution specific to that ideal customer profile. There's a constraint of time, and in particular, what made it difficult was that I was curious to see whether it was a feasible strategy. And what I found is that I am incredibly excited. I'm about to go to 2 hackathons. One tomorrow morning for Vercel V0, and then a second one on Saturday for Google DeepMind. I'm gonna quickly go eat a big, juicy avocado, egg, and salmon wrap. I'm about to go to my boxing training and get to sleep early for my 5 a.m. train. All right, we made it. I love boxing. That was so much fun. So yeah, going home now. It's been a good session. Okay, so I was meant to go to sleep early, but I just added a bunch of new features to the software I'm building, and my team had an important client demo on Friday. So I was asked to record a demo explaining how to use some of the new features, and I ended up going to sleep rather late. So I definitely was in need of a big coffee at 5 a.m. the next day. While I was on the train, I got the idea to ask people for suggestions on what I should build. I felt really uncomfortable recording in front of a bunch of people on the train, but I specifically wanted to do it in order to overcome my anxiety of speaking in public. I ended up re-recording the video once I got to London anyway, but either way, it was a very helpful experience. Greetings, we are at the V0 event today, and here we have Yasmin. Amazing. Yasmin is doing marketing, and we might form a team and launch an interesting marketing app, so we'll see where it goes. Maya did a phenomenal job introducing the event to everyone, and I got straight into speaking with lots of people and trying to find the right team. It was hard to decide because there were so many amazing individuals all around, but I ended up settling on a team of people that were amazing to work with. Okay, so what did we actually build? Basically, have you heard about MCP? MCP is dead now. Yeah. Skills are exploding. Everyone wants skills. Well, skills is a specific term for an agent has a markdown file that describes a skill. Okay. So it's like a discrete ability. Recipe. Imagine a recipe for getting shit done. Yeah. You know what I mean? So many of them. Literally every hour, 500 skills got uploaded. How did you find the right skill?
Every minute, every second you're getting a new skill.
Every millisecond, dude, there's 1 million skills uploaded. So you're on a sea of skills and you're trying to find the right one. So what you do, you come in here and you search in, I do coding, right? You can see a map of all the skills clustered in different areas. And then there's a leaderboard for all the different skills that exist.
Yeah.
And you can see which ones are the highest ranked skills. It helps you decide which ones you need. That's basically it. All right, there was a lot of cool demos built during those 2 hours, like Sophia, who built this app that tracks your hand and reacts to it dynamically. Another app which I really liked was Diana's, which translates your name from a different language into English, but it does it based on your personality and identity to actually represent who you are more closely. And it really inspired me towards design. I feel that as AI is making it easier and easier to write code, what can make apps stand out is the UI and UX. While our team didn't win, we did get an honorable mention and had a phenomenal time. Hackathon successful. That was phenomenal. I can't wait for the next one. This was a good time.
I spent 2 hours doing a PRD and 15 minutes generating the app.
Really? Yo, respect. Yeah, it was a great conversation, man. All right, hope you see you around sometime, man. All the best. Yeah. All right, additional quick note. Who you just saw there is Cyril, also known as Squanchy, according to Maya.
And we've got Squanchy.
He's an amazing individual who is shipping apps literally every single day and live streaming lots of it. So if you're interested in seeing someone who is inspiringly intense in shipping software, then definitely go give him a follow. After the event, we just enjoyed London for a good few hours, some good live music, some food, and some great people as well, and then got back home for an early night rest.
Yeah, post-hackathon, energy.
The next day, I woke up feeling calm and content thanks to my friends' incredibly generous hosting, and made my way to the Google DeepMind event. I'm not sure if I'd recommend doing 2 hackathons back to back. It was pretty exhausting, to be honest.
On a Saturday morning.
But I did make the most of it. I had a really good chat about generating synthetic data to train AI models with the post-training researcher at Cohere and several other inspiring individuals. This time around, my focus was less on the idea and more on finding great teammates to work with and on executing on an idea. I teamed up with Emily and Artemis, 2 software engineers at Rolls-Royce, and we built a decision-making platform for aerospace engineers.
To do future planning, decision-making, deciding what is the fuel of the future. This is aerogenesis.
Even though not everything went to plan, it was an absolutely phenomenal project to work on together. More on that in the analysis later. Afterwards, we went out for dinner and had some really good conversations over Chinese. Alrighty, now let's get into the analysis. 3 reasons why I think hackathons are awesome. First of all, networking. The people you meet there are absolutely amazing. The density of brilliant minds is better than anywhere else that I've seen. In particular, you don't just get to speak like at an event, you get to actually experience working together on a shared goal on a project. I think that really brings people together, and it also means you get to have a much more in-depth amount of experience that could be great for finding a co-founder or someone you'd want to work with in the future. Next, ideation. You get such different people from different places that you get novel ideas, like a beautiful soup of novelty that creates something maybe you would never think of if you were purely on your own. And finally, fast-paced building. There's this time pressure to launch so quickly that it actually encourages you to not overthink it and to ship an MVP. If you're a startup founder and you want to just validate an idea quickly, I think this can give you a really helpful amount of pressure to launch a product today. Additionally, there's a constraint of time, and that makes it really tricky to manage your energy and your time to execute on what actually matters. And this is where the strategies come in. One approach to dealing with this is by focusing on just building. Not trying to think of a new idea, not trying to make a new team, just executing on something you've already built before. And to be fair, both winners of the events I went to fall into this camp. They had a pre-existing idea and they executed it very, very well. You still get to network before and after the event. Just during the event, you focus on execution. Next, there's the problem solver. I think Squanchy is a phenomenal example of this, where he came in, he did a little bit of networking just to meet the event organizers, and then asked lots of questions to understand the problems that they were facing, and developed a solution on the spot that directly targeted the event organizers' problems. I think this gives him a great chance at potentially acquiring a client or at making new connections with the organizers. Next, this is one I didn't see anyone doing at the event, but I thought would be really interesting to mention, is the discovery sprint. There's so many founders, engineers, designers in one room. There's an amazing opportunity to go around interviewing people about the problems and then shipping a solution specific to that ideal customer profile on the day. So my insight is that you can't win unless you have clarity what success means to you. I think either strategy can be fine, but just expecting to have the same results is unrealistic. If you focus the entire event on just execution versus if you try to make a new team and decide on an idea together, there's a misalignment in expectations there that will lead to disappointment. It's similar to starting a business. If you want to build $1 billion business and you also want to have work-life balance, then you're probably going to be disappointed because it takes a crazy amount of work. I love this quote of, you can do anything, but not everything, or at least not very well. Really, it boils down to the question around depth versus breadth. I personally love the breadth and the novelty of exploring new ideas and different things, but I also see the value in going really deep in one subject. I think AI agents in particular are making breadth stronger as you're able to really narrow down and go deep with an agent right when you need to without having to know all the ins and outs up front. So just to summarize, there's no right or wrongs, there's just trade-offs, and I think putting some thought beforehand into which trade-offs are worth it for you personally is helpful. So after the first event, I did some reflecting. I initially tried to do a balanced team strategy and anticipated that our capacity would increase as there's more people. However, I didn't account for the lost time in communication and with collaboration that actually meant we ran out of time towards the end. And in particular, what made it difficult was that only one person was able to code at a time. So we didn't account for that bottleneck, and it made it harder to manage our time. I think a good approach to solving this would be to use GitHub with different branches and then merge towards the end. Obviously, in the first event, it was only 2 hours, so that wasn't feasible. But the second event was 4 hours, so I thought that we could make it. So for Saturday, my plan was to focus on networking. Don't worry too much about the perfect idea, and be very open to different ideas and just focus on networking and on executing the app efficiently. I was curious to see whether it was a feasible strategy to use GitHub during a hackathon. And what I found is that setting up the GitHub repository took so much additional time and effort that essentially it was just not worth it. Especially at the end, trying to merge all the code together. We tried to make separate pages and try to make them independent of one another to avoid merge conflicts. But inevitably, it just led to a lot of additional faff. So I would say, unless you have 6 hours, it's definitely not worth using GitHub during a hackathon. I think instead a better approach might be to create a system of systems, having multiple independent different applications that you can work on in parallel on separate GitHub repositories, and then simply being able to swap between tabs during the demo and not having to integrate the apps together in code, but instead integrate them verbally through an explanation of how the systems interconnect. For example, one of them could be a landing page and one of them could be a product. And when you click on the sign up link, it could take you to the product. Or you could have 3 different interconnected parts of a product that are all working together, but they don't need to be in the same code base. I think this insight goes well beyond just hackathons as well. I think being able to collaborate effectively and avoid these sort of bottlenecks makes brings out the best out of everyone. For example, I find meetings can be quite limiting because there's one person speaking while everybody else is listening. I think instead a workshop where multiple people are able to collaborate at the same time in parallel and then discuss what they've worked on brings out the best out of everyone in the team as opposed to bottlenecking to a single individual. Curiously, I think the second event was actually a major success, not despite the GitHub issue, but because of it. I think it demonstrated the importance of finding teammates that are able to be resilient, that aren't just technically competent, but are also able to go through difficult situations and energize each other instead of draining each other. Even when things didn't go to plan, we were all in a playful and cheery mood and were able to calmly go through and submit our demo. So shout out to Artemis and Emily for making that happen. It was great to work with you both. So that's definitely something I'll be looking for in future collaborators. Everyone seems great until you're under high pressure. So I think having the experience of being under a high pressure situation to vet a potential co-founder or collaborator is actually a very useful, unique part of a hackathon. All right, so to wrap up this video, I hope you found it to be useful and interesting. I encourage you to sign up to a hackathon, especially in London. I think that's the highest density of amazing individuals. And I highly recommend checking out luma.com as they have like 5 AI tech related events literally every single day happening in London. And let me know how it goes. And one last note, if you know any great video editors, please send me a message. I would love to start making videos much more consistently, but it just takes a huge amount of time and effort, and I have full-time work, which makes it hard to edit. So I hope you found this enjoyable, and please do send me a message if you know any video editors. Thank you. Goodbye.